Max, it is
Yes, sir.
the depths of the off season,
Mm-hmm.
but the excitement for football never sleeps here on
No,
DCTF
never.
Live, and
Never.
this gives us an opportunity to catch up with coaches
That's
we
right.
want to talk to, coaches who have interesting stories to tell. And one of those is the head coach of the Splendora Wildcats. We are joined now by the head coach of those Wildcats, Coach Marcus Schulz. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, Greg. How are y'all?
Doing excellent. Appreciate your time. How is the off season going so far? I know you guys are working hard, but how have things been going down there in Splendora?
Things are going well. The kids are working hard and doing what we ask and buying into what we're trying to do here at Splendora.
I want to ask you about last season where you guys come out white hot, start off 3-0, win your first district game on the road against Dayton, and all of a sudden kind of everybody starts turning heads. Things didn't finish well. You guys lose your last 7, finish the year 3-7. I guess what changed? What happened after that Dayton game that maybe things turned a little sour? Obviously, a tough district has something to do with it, but from your perspective, what was behind last season's kind of roller coaster ride?
Yeah, like you said, we definitely have a tough district. Our district is stacked with athletes and great coaches throughout. Honestly, we started out hot. We did ended up winning that first game against Dayton to open up District 21 5A, our first year in 5A, moving up, being the smallest school in 5A in the state. And then we had that bye week. Bye weeks sometimes can be good or bad. Toward the end of the year, they're good, and for us, it wasn't that good. We got to unfortunately hear some people say how good we were, or how good things were going, and I'm not saying that was necessarily the case because we definitely had to play some tough competition. But I think that bye week might have slipped up and got us a little bit.
And I want to ask you about the keeping the attitude up there. And you mentioned kind of maybe reading a little bit of the kids reading a little bit of their newspaper clippings. This is a program at Splendora that has missed the playoffs for 9 consecutive years. They haven't made the playoffs since 2007. For you as a coach, how do you keep that attitude up? How do you keep the positivity flowing in your practices and across the program to be able to break that kind of streak?
That's tough. That's one of those things that's tough to do. With us starting out 3-0, of course, we had the momentum going, and once you have that mo on your side, it usually is a good thing. We did slip up and make some costly mistakes and lost some close games. We ended up losing 4 district ball games by a total of 18 points combined. So, week in and week out, I hate to say that we always tried to find the positive in those losses. Kids played hard. We made some great decisions and great choices at times, and then unfortunately the times that we slipped up really cost us a few games, especially late in the season.
I think one thing people may not realize across the state is the unique situation down there at Splendora, that you guys are the smallest school in 5A. 1,108 is your enrollment. The cutoff number is 1,100. There are a couple teams that opted up, but you are the smallest. You are right at the number. Obviously, the news in the past month of the 5A split coming in the next realignment. You can certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but I have to imagine that you are in favor of the 5A split.
I'm 100% in favor of the split. Everybody's got their own stance on that, but I'm definitely in favor of it. I think it puts us on a little bit more level playing field with some of those other schools that have 1,900 and 2,000 that we're having to play. There's definitely a difference there in number of athletes and athletes, period.
Yeah, because you look at it, even in your own district right now, I mean, when you guys go and play Conroe Caney Creek, and I understand that Caney Creek's not exactly a powerhouse, but at the same time, when you go play them, that's a team with an enrollment almost 2,000. It's almost twice as many kids. I mean, even if there's not a physical advantage, which there certainly is, there's got to be some sort of that's got to be a sort of hurdle to overcome from a mental perspective for your team when you look over there and say, okay, well that team's got 800 more kids than we do.
Oh, definitely. And, you look at some of the other schools, New Caney and Porter, both are sitting around 1,900 students as we speak right now. Humble ISD, Humble High School, they're 1,900 right now. And it is, it's not necessarily Athletes are athletes, but when you look across and you've got 60 guys on their roster and we're rolling with 40, those 40 kids that some of them are playing two ways and going and practice two ways and then coming out to play in a game two ways and going against those guys that are platooning and necessarily not having to go two ways. At the end of the year, towards the end of the year, it becomes a grind even more for us and those kids that are going two ways and getting beat up every single day on both sides of the ball. So there is a huge difference there.
We're talking with Marcus Schulz, the head coach of the Splendora Wildcats here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation with hashtag DCTF Live. Coach, looking forward to 2017. You got to feel good about your team. I know that last year didn't go as you planned, but with 15 starters back, 8 starters offensively, 7 starters on defense. From an experience perspective, as a coach, I feel like you can't ask for a whole lot more than that.
No, it's going to be great. These kids, we were like I said, we were fairly young and moving up all last year. They got some great experience and got to see what the 5A level of football is like. And bringing back those 8 guys on offense, we installed a new offense this past year, so it was new to all of us. And this will be the second year in that offense. So I like what I see so far this spring, and I like what we have coming back on both sides of the ball defensively. We had a great year and ended up fourth ranked defense in our district last year. So doing great things with Coach Dehek and our defensive coordinator over there too. Not
to mention, you mentioned the offensive side. The defense looks like it's going to be very strong, but then the offensive side, you guys bring back one of the best players in the district. You bring back Evan Nichols, who was a first-team all-district guy. He was an all-Montgomery County guy, ran for, almost 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns. From your perspective as the guy who gets to watch him every day in practice, what sets Evan Nichols apart? What's making him so special?
Evan's a talented kid. He's you look at him and you wouldn't think that he would be a first-team all-district running back in our district, but he's got a quick step. He's very, very shifty. Has a great group of guys that are coming back as well. Up front, had a great group this year, his offensive line. But Evan's just got a different step. Once he sees a hole, he's able to hit it and accelerate. And he's definitely a kid that works hard. He works hard and he loves what he does and continues to want to get better. And a 5'6" running back in a wing T offense, he can maybe hide a little bit, and maybe a little advantage there. He definitely can. Yes, sir. I know one thing you've been very passionate about ever since you came on board there in Splendora a couple of years back. One thing you've been very passionate about is the facilities. You've been somebody who's really been pushing the school district to move forward with facilities. I know that they the board approved these. I want to ask you how the facilities are coming along and what kind of difference you can tell from the day that you came on board at Splendora to what you're seeing now. Oh, it's a huge difference. It's our community has really bought in. Our school board and everybody here in Splendora, administration-wise, has bought into what we want to do and what we're trying to do here. Facilities have come a long way. We put for almost a $5 million project into the football stadium, track complex, and redid all that. Added turf, something that we've never had here. But with us moving up to 5A, the major selling point was, our kids are going to have to go to a lot of these schools who have phenomenal facilities. And I didn't want our kids to have to go play at those facilities and then come back and play at a subpar facility in our own house. So, the kids have taken pride in it. The kids are very excited. The community of Splendora is excited about what's going on and what the facilities have done a great job. Hellas came in and did a great job on our facilities. And, I think we've got some things still going on. Baseball, softball complexes are still being renovated. New tennis courts going in. We've got new parking going in. So there's a lot of stuff still going on and still being done. But it's a process that's fun to watch. Now the other thing that we always hear about Splendora football is the fun practices. The style of practices that you guys things are loose. Things tend to be loose. Things tend to be a little bit fun. This is your first head coaching job. Why was it important for you to come in and establish a
mentality of we're going to go out here and have fun and during our practice and not just slog through?
Yeah, that's something that, I felt very strongly about. And, both of my coordinators, have been with me for a couple of years now at our prior school, Coach Willis and Coach Dehek both. And they know, that's something that we pride ourselves in. Enthusiasm breeds enthusiasm, energy breeds energy. And I think, from a coaching standpoint, we get out there and we chest bump and, we slap the kids around. We turn the music on a little bit. It's okay to be loose. The kids know that once we step on the field, we're locked in and we're ready to go. And football's a fun game. It's not a game that you have to sit out there all the time and just be yelled at and constantly drill driven. We can get out there and have fun and still get our work done. And I think that's huge. The kids enjoy it. It's a long season. Practices can be long. And if you can't get out there and have fun and have a little energy and play with the kids some, then, I think that bad things, could possibly go on.
He is Marcus Schulz. He's the head coach of the Splendora Wildcats. Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck in the off season, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you down the road.
I appreciate it, guys.
There he goes, Marcus Schulz, head coach, Splendora Wildcats. They're in a unique position, and of the teams, they are the team that most would benefit from the 5A split.
Oh yeah.
Here is that they're playing teams. How many? Just exited that, unfortunately, but they're playing teams that are almost twice their size in their own district. Yeah. And when you have a cutoff number of 1,100, a cutoff number of 1,100, that can weigh on you.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he mentioned it that you're going in. You want to put your best players out there, but when you've got 40 kids and they've got 60 kids, they can be a lot more fresh, and especially down the stretch.
Well, not just to mention, some of the teams in that district. He already talked about the Caney schools and all that, but you still got Barbers Hill, you still got Crosby. These are places that are growing quickly, and they've got a lot of talent, and that's tough for a smaller program to hang with.
Yeah, and I don't know. For me, the thing for Splendora, and he mentioned it, we saw them start hot last year. Mm-hmm. Start 3-0. We got to, for me, I'm going to be wait and see on them.
Yeah,
I need to see them put together 4, 5, 6 games in a row, not necessarily win them all,
right,
but have a good showing in them.
Yeah,
because this is a program that has to get off the schneid. It's a program there, and I know they're really optimistic down there, and we are too. It's going to be interesting, and when you have that kind of
the right attitude about it.
I think that's right. When you have 15 starters back, I mean that speaks for itself in a lot of ways. So, all right, thanks to Coach Marcus Schulz of Splendora for hopping on with us.